What's going on, Bulls fans? We have a tough loss that the Bulls suffered at the hand of the Golden State Warriors. And I'm going to talk about why some of the narrative surrounding teams when they don't face elite competition is really kind of null and void, and how that reared its ugly head in this game against the Golden State Warriors. We'll get into that and more right after this.
Jordan Poole wide open. Former teammates Levine and Wiggins going at it. Oh. Levine drives, falling away, shot it.
All right, Bulls fans. So the Bulls had their biggest loss of the season thus far. Again, losses like this are bound to happen to every team throughout the season. And the thing that I noticed, at least in the Bulls community, now I'm part of a lot of different Chicago Bulls Facebook groups, just groups all over the place, involved in Twitter, Reddit, and some of the fandom is immediately, it's like the sky is falling type theory. These losses are going to happen. And the thing that, coming into this, and even in my preview video, we got a lot of comments about, oh, the Warriors haven't really faced quality opponents. And you remember when that narrative was surrounding the Chicago Bulls? The thing that I noticed and that I want to have a conversation about, just to start this off, is that team strengths are team strengths, regardless of their competition, right? And I get it if they haven't faced elite level teams, that they may not have the degrees of success that they have against lesser teams. But team strengths are going to be their strengths regardless, meaning that, like with the Golden State Warriors, them being number one in offense, they're going to score the ball very effectively. They're rebounding. They're going to rebound the ball very effectively. Their assists, they're going to pass and move the ball around very effectively. Those things are going to happen regardless of whatever team that they face. So, coming into the game, and a lot of, Bulls saying, well, I wouldn't be surprised if we blow them out because they haven't really faced a quality opponent. It's the same thing that happened with the Bulls, for example. When we started the season, we probably didn't face some of the more elite teams. And, they were saying, oh, well, let's see what the Bulls do against better competition. But what we showed in those games was that our defense is tough, that we play with a lot of heart. And all those things have remained to be true throughout this season. Now, again, a lot of what I talked about in my preview video showed the Bulls started off this game with keeping those turnovers underhand and actually forcing the Warriors to have more turnovers. We saw the Bulls fluctuate anywhere between an 8 to 5 point lead throughout the early parts of that game when they were forcing turnovers from the Golden State Warriors. However, that narrative of the game completely changed over the course of the game, and we ended up with the Bulls having 20 turnovers to the Warriors only 16 turnovers. So, that, I think if the Bulls would have been able to keep that going on and playing that tough defense, this game would have looked completely different. But it got completely away from the Bulls. It really got away from the Bulls in the second and third quarters. First quarter, we won. Fourth quarter, they only outscored us by 2 points. We scored 33. They scored 33. We scored 31. But those second and third quarters, in the second quarter, the Bulls only scored 16 points, whereas the Warriors scored 28. And then in that third quarter, the Bulls only scored 17 points, whereas the Warriors scored 35 points. That's where we lost this game at. And then the story across that game, across those points of the game, was really just, like I said, what I said in the preview video, not having a scoring threat out there like a Vooch completely changed the way that the Bulls were able to play. There were certain shots in this. There were certain times where Lonzo would get Tony Bradley open. Even Haize Johnson had some chances, and they just didn't knock down their shots. Those are shots that you would expect Vooch to probably knock down. So it's, again, and there was somebody in the comments as well who had mentioned, like, oh, well, we're better without Vooch because of the way he was playing. Like I said in that preview video, just having somebody with the threat of being able to shoot at Vooch's level completely changes the dynamic and how you have to guard our team. Now, the Bulls didn't do themselves very many favors. This wasn't a great shooting night for anyone. We only shot 29% from three. We were 8 from 27 from three. We shot 43.6% from the field, which isn't that bad, but this game, that first quarter gave us a lot of hope, and then literally it was pulled away from us very shortly after that. And, the Bulls team are down. I don't want to make any excuses because this game could have been winnable depending on how the Bulls played. That defensive intensity did not stick around. The Bulls started playing very sloppy basketball and started turning the ball over. And overall, like, this wasn't even a game where I would say it seemed like Zach started forcing it or even DeMar started forcing anything. They just weren't hitting their shots. And this is going to happen over the course of the season. Yes, it's a demoralizing loss for the night. But the good thing is that we have another game coming up tomorrow, and we can really right some of these wrongs and get things back on track. Listen, the Bulls are never going to win every game of this season. And, if you're a Bulls fan and you're getting kind of down after this big loss, listen, it's going to happen. We lost our starting center, who over the course of his career has been a 20-point per game scorer. And even in this season, even on his down scoring, is still scoring pretty effectively for us. We don't have somebody who can really plug in and change that. Also, our bench didn't play nearly as effectively as they have been the last few games. And this was one of the games that Billy Donovan went deeper into his bench. We knew that was going to happen because of Vooch to a degree. A lot of the players who only got a few minutes was, of course, just because we were out of that game by that fourth quarter. It just, it's going to happen. And this is why, like I said, they're the best team in the league for a reason. And that whole narrative about, they didn't face competition, I get that to a degree, right? But you still have to look at what their strengths are going to be. And like I said in that preview video, their strengths matched up with the Bulls' weaknesses very well in their favor. And that was the story of this game. Now, this game could be completely different with Vooch being out there. Also, if we hit better shots, we play better defense, we don't have as many turnovers that they turn into easy points, the outlook of this game changes a lot there. But again, I'm not as down on this loss. Yes, the Bulls did not play a great game, and I'm not cutting any excuses for the team. They need to absolutely play better. But the one thing that I do expect is that they will pull it around. One thing that I do want to point out, Tony Bradley, even being the starting center, still only playing 14 minutes because he's not a scoring threat. Only scoring 3 points out there, having a plus minus of -13. All the Bulls starters had a negative plus minus. So again, that's just the nature of how we lost this game. Even Javonte Green only playing 16 minutes in this game. And for the people who say that Kobe White, where is Kobe White going to find minutes at? The fact that Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan all could easily drop about 3 to 5 minutes off their time, as well as, like I said, I do think that those minutes that that's going to Io are probably going to be given to Kobe if Kobe's playing well. And it's just going to be back and forth between the matchup or whatever else. Also, there's minutes out there. Now, does Kobe White change the outlook of this game a lot? No, I just don't think so because of what the way that we lost this game. It doesn't, but it is going to bode well for us when we do have that scoring threat back on the bench. Overall, like Derrick Jones Jr. played really good off the bench as well for us in the minutes that he did play. I wouldn't mind seeing him start out there. Again, you don't want to just because of a bad loss pull some knee-jerk reactions. I don't expect the Bulls to make a lot of changes to the lineup anytime soon, but this loss gave us some things to look at, things that we need to focus on, and gave us a preview of how this team is going to look without Vooch being out there. And it looks completely different, like I said. And the Bulls are going to have to find a way to adapt while Vooch isn't in the lineup. Marco did not get off the bench at all, which I expected as well. Marco's out there for a body. I don't think Marco's going to get very much time unless it's crunched, unless the Bulls have a big lead and he comes in the fourth quarter. But I'm not gonna labor this anymore. The Bulls lost this game. They deserve to lose this game with the way they played and with those turnovers, and that's just it. They have to play better. They have to get better at what they do, and they have to get back and find a way to adapt to playing a different style without Vooch, or sign DeMarcus Cousins. Somebody said in the comments before, Kevin Love. I don't think Kevin Love long-term fixes anything for us and our main problems. Yes, he's a power forward name that can shoot and rebound, but we need more than that. We need rim protection. We need defense. We need and rebounding. Kevin Love really doesn't project to give that at this point in his career, in my opinion. But the Bulls need to do something and change some things. And having this day between games and looking at tape, hopefully they find a way to better incorporate and work around that, not having Vooch for the next 5 to 6 games. So let me know down below what you guys think. Any issues that you noticed with the game that maybe I didn't point out in this video. Yeah, also, we'll probably do another mailbag episode probably sometime next week. So any of your crazy Bulls takes, any of your questions, anything that I haven't really talked about, if you want to hear, leave that down below. But like always, I love you guys. Go Bulls. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.